Okay, parable number 13. Mark 4:26 through to 29. The growing seed. Ooh, the growing seed. Parable 13 as well. 13, oh, unlucky for some. So, when I'm meditating and I'm observing as a watcher my 12 cranial nerves, now remember, the religious morons will tell you that the watchers are evil. Don't listen to a fucking word religious people have to say. So I am observing, watching my 12 cranial nerves, the little dots of light, which makes me then, so they're the 12 star signs, if you want, like a little zodiac, if you wish, because each one represents a different part of the body, the lands. And I'm watching the 12, so I'm the 13th. I am the 13th. Consciousness. Get it? It's like when Judas, which is another story entirely, when Judas killed himself and did it quickly. Judas, the word goes to the roots of the word is Yahuda. And Yahuda means related to Yah, relates to Yah. In other words, he knows Yah, not Yah knows the individual. So a Yahuda, in modern day terms, Arabs call the Jews Yahudim, and the individual is Yahudah. And the Israelites use these words as well, so they're still very valid today, but not in the esoteric sense. A Jew is somebody who cleans their house and meditates. So those other Jews are fake Jews. Now you can go down the Khazarian rabbit hole if you want. Don't bother with any of that. Take care of this and this. Okay? Because all you'll find out there is lies. Thousands of years of lies. The truth's in here. Why bother with out there? Simple. So, and Judas, Yahuda, wasn't a traitor. It's part of the deal. Yahuda is related to Yah. He sacrificed himself. And he was one of the 12 disciples. And then he was replaced by, I think it was Matthew. Another Matthew. I might have to reread that. But then the Apostle Paul comes along. The Apostle Paul is the lowly and little ego. Okay? And he's the 13th disciple. No, he's not. He gets kicked out of heaven in the end. And it's the same story with Yahuda. That's the sacrifice. And it's the sacrifice of certain urges. And it's where a certain it doesn't happen instantly, it happens over a period of time. So the sex drive, it becomes less important. It still plays its part, but it's no longer the driving factor. And it just slowly kind of peters out. And this is what Jacob was on about when he climbed the mountain and God put his hip out. You know, you're at the top of the mountain, you can't get off a mountain if you've got a dislocated hip. But also having your hip put out, you're not going to be having any nookie either. But it's a way. And these are the things that will be required of you to surrender, to give up for better things. And I'm not saying that the sex act is bad or anything like that, because that's religious think. It's a beautiful thing, but it has its place. And it's not before the spirit. Whereas if you look at the ego, especially for the male ego in this society, you know, sex sells, it's everything. Okay? Right. Right. So, yeah, parable 13. He also said, This is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seed on the ground. Night and day, whether he sleeps or get up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. All by itself the soil produces grain. First the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. And as soon as the grain is ripe, he puts the sickle to it, because the harvest has come. So when it says a man, it means a certain man. So, right, the growing seed. So what makes things grow? He says here, night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. All by itself, the soil produces grain. First the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. Now listen, people, is he talking about wheat fields? Or is he talking about your physiological body? So let's look at it. A man scatters seed on the ground. Night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. So it's a bit of a mystery to it. And all by itself, the soil produces grain. First, the stalk. What does a stalk do, people? It rises up. Then the head. So it's got to the head now. And then the full kernel in the head, the pineal. As soon as this grain is ripe, he puts the sickle to it, because the harvest has come. Okay? Do you understand? So when your kernel is ripe, you will be harvested. Get it? Stored in the barn. Known. Immortal. Infinite. Not bound up. Free. This is a process.